Hey guys, it's Tara. Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a review of Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. This is going to be a spoiler-free review, so if you haven't read the book yet, feel free to hang around and see if it's something you might enjoy. So, Six of Crows is a YA fantasy to start off with, and it follows Kaz Brecker, who gets the opportunity to pull off this very deadly heist for a very large prize, a prize that's big enough to change both his life and the life of all of his associates as well. To start off with, we'll talk about Kaz a little bit. Kaz is a very kind of cold and calculating, very morally gray character. He has a very traumatic past, and that very clearly affects him regularly. He is a member of the Dregs, and he's kind of higher up within the gang, like a boss, I guess you would say, but not the top boss. And he has the nickname Dirty Hands because he's willing to do things that a lot of other people aren't willing to do to get the things that he wants. And probably my favorite part of Kaz, one of the things, well, really overall, he's one of my favorite book characters. He's definitely made my top 10 list. But one of the things that I really like about him that I feel like Leigh Bardugo did so well is how she handled writing a character with a disability. Kaz uses cane, he has a bad leg, and to me, this is the only time that I have ever seen in fantasy a disability done this well. So often what we see in fantasy is authors relying on this. They basically default back to like, okay, yes, my character has a disability, but it never affects them in any way. Like they've overcome it, but their overcoming it is just it not even being an issue. And to me, that's unrealistic and kind of insulting to people with real disabilities because they do struggle and there are disadvantages to it. And them overcoming that and like struggling with it, but still coming out stronger in the end is what makes them such strong people. And to just kind of write it away by saying, oh, it's never an issue, to me is not the point, if that makes sense. So she did it in a really beautiful way to me. She very well showcased his disability, and it's such a part of who he is as a character, but in like a fantastic way. And I just really liked how she did that, how she handled that. So Six of Crows is called Six of Crows because there are 6 people, including Kaz in the crew, that he chooses. So our next crow is Inej. Inej is this kind of sneaky, quiet spy type of character. They refer to her as the Wrath. And then we have Nina. Nina is how we tie in the Grisha into these books. So if you didn't know, Six of Crows duology is set in the same universe or world as Leigh Bardugo's Grisha trilogy. So she kind of does this and ties that in more so to these books because Nina is a Grisha, a Heartrender specifically. So Nina as a character is very loud. She eats whatever she wants. She does whatever she wants. She's very like fun-loving and easygoing. I really like her as a character as well. Then next we have Matthias. Matthias is Fjerdan. He is what they call in the book a Druskelle. Druskelle are kind of, they're basically witch hunters, and they believe that the Grisha are witches and that they're evil. Matthias himself is kind of a big bully. He's self-righteous. He's like a big brute, super strong, blah, blah, blah. Then we go to Jesper. Jesper is a Neuvisem sharpshooter. He's very quick-witted and hilarious, but like ADHD, super fun-loving. Just like his motivation for everything is just, let's have the most fun. How can we have the most fun? Let's do that. And he's definitely the comic relief of this book for sure. Like, so funny. So many funny moments from Jesper. Then there is Wylan. Wylan is our 6th and final crow. He is our demolition expert. He's just super like cute, young, and naive, you know? And there's lots of banter between Wylan and Jesper within the book that are just super funny. So the world itself. Like I said, we are in the same world as the Grisha trilogy. The people in this book, like the beginning of the book, is set in the island nation of Kerch, specifically the capital city of Ketterdam. Ketterdam is, from my understanding, supposed to be loosely based off of Amsterdam. So it's very like money-centric, trade-centric. There's lots of like merchant guilds and stuff like that, but there's also lots of gangs and crime and like touristy type of stuff. There is a little bit of magic in this. It is, like I said, the same world as the Grisha, so there are Grisha within it. It's definitely not the focus, though, like in her Grisha trilogy. So while there is some, it's it's definitely more based on like the criminal aspects and the heist and all that type of stuff. So I'm gonna pause here and we'll talk about some cons for the book. For me, and again, this is not gonna be true for everybody because I know everybody's tastes are different, but for me, a con would be the romance is definitely a subplot in this book. And you know, sometimes that's okay and I don't mind it. And this is definitely one of those cases where I didn't mind it. Like there is romance, but it's just not at all the focus. And so if that's something that like you're looking for a romance fantasy, this is not a romance fantasy. It's definitely more based on everything else, which is kind of funny to me because Leigh Bardugo got so much hate for her Grisha trilogy, for Shadow and Bone, and the romance within that. And then this book and Ninth House, which link my review up above if you haven't seen that yet. She really like pedaled back hard on the romance within her books. And it kind of makes me wonder if she didn't just go, all right, you guys hate how I do romance, then I just won't do it. Because it's kind of what it feels like, you know, because she wrote those first and then she got all this hate, and now all of her newer books that I've read have barely any romance in them. Kind of makes me wonder if that wasn't like on purpose. But moving back on to my con list, it is pretty short. The next is 100% personal preference. Heists are usually not my favorite like premise of a book. I do want to say though, if there are any of you watching this that are like, heists are not my thing, so I'm probably not gonna like this book, I would encourage you to take a second look because I felt the same way and I ended up really, really enjoying this book. So I do think it's a very well done heist book and there's enough other stuff going on that it doesn't just feel like criminals breaking into something and blah. And then the other thing would be for me, this is a multiple POV book, multiple point of view. It does oscillate between 5 of the 6 crows back and forth. And for me, I usually like a pretty deep first person immersion when I'm reading YA fantasy. However, I think this was well done. And I think kind of the break from Kaz's mentality every now and then was light and refreshing and kind of needed. But there were some moments where I just didn't care so much about whatever character, because you know, everybody picks favorites. And you know, that's fine because I'm sure that there were other people who their favorites were other characters, other points of view, and they wanted to get back to them. So it kind of did allow for there to be something for everyone. So it wasn't a huge con for me either. So the ending of this book, I will say there's supposed to be a pretty major plot twist at the end. For me, I did see it coming. It made sense to me what was going to happen to some extent. And I didn't hate that. It's not completely abnormal for me to predict the endings to books and stuff like that. So it wasn't disappointing or anything that by all means, but I did kind of see it coming. But it definitely is a cliffhanger and I definitely immediately picked up Crooked Kingdom and started reading it. So it was a good ending. It was well done. It was very well written. So my rating, I give this book 4 out of 5 stars. I did really enjoy it. I definitely feel much better about Leigh Bardugo as an author after having read this in Ninth House after reading the Grisha trilogy. Speaking of which, if you're interested, I did review all 3 books of the Grisha trilogy and I will link those videos down in the description box below if you want to check those out, as well as Leigh Bardugo's book Ninth House. I'll leave that down below as well. So that concludes today's video, guys. If you liked it, please hit that thumbs up. If you're new here, hi, my name is Tara. I do book reviews and other bookish content, as well as writing updates every once in a while. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you can get notified when I post new videos. And yeah, that's it for today, guys. Bye.